everybody, and welcome back to some more FTB Neotech. Today, we are going to be doing some interesting stuff because as you can see right behind me, I've got a lot of machines all hooked up here. And all of this is going to be helping us work towards our goal today, which is chemical automation, which is going to be a bit of a process. I'm not going to do like the filterings and stuff on screen. You don't got to worry about that. It's just not just going to be going slowly. Yes, okay. Now we go into a recipe and then just move everything slowly. No, we're not doing that. That'd be disgusting. What we are instead going to be doing is we are going to be working towards some specific goals. One of the goals is going to be the industrial TNT, which involves several chemicals, one of which I have forgotten to add to my list, but that's fine. I'll get that later. That one's a whole other can of worms anyways, so that's fine. But all of this is got to start from somewhere, and that somewhere is right up here with a distillation tower and shale oil. Now, I've already gotten all the components for the distillation tower. I've got it all right here and also in the crest reward. It's just, I didn't want to do that on screen just because, like, it was just a lot. So as for the shale oil part, though, we need another oil rig, which I have set up in between episodes. So all we need to do is just stick some steel drills in here, which I have forgotten. I mean, no, I didn't. I've got everything right here. Ha ha ha. Oh, wait, that's the wrong side. I need the inputs to be over here. Okay, I've already got the power hooked up here as well. So now, after a little bit, we should get ourselves our shale oil, which should go right over in here. Yes. Let's go ahead and disconnect this first and then hook this thing up here. Because what this thing is gravity. This is called a task screen. This is what is going to help us get certain tasks that require us to input things. So it's gonna help us a lot, especially with this one right here. We just need to click accept, and there we go. Now we got the shale oil one done. We can go ahead and disconnect that and put our tank back over here. There we go. So yeah, that's how we get a lot of those tasks that have these things right in here. Even in the end game one, that's how I'm gonna get these energy based ones, is I need to hook up a battery to those things, which I should probably get started soon, actually, since I am fastly approaching like a lot of end game stuff. So should probably get those things sorted out soon enough, but that'll be fine. So now that we have ourselves our shale oil being processed, our shale oil will actually be able to turn into 3 different things. Now we could throw this into the distillation tower, but I only have enough for one of these, and I want to use that for one of the end processes, which has pretty much everything we get from a lot of the previous stuff. At least these 2 things. Don't know about the rest of these, but I don't really need those. The only thing we really need out of this one, at least as far as I know, is the sulfuric naphtha. So we'll just have to go for that one, which means we should just need one other distillery, which I actually have 2 for some reason, but that's fine. Oh, also, I don't think I ever mentioned it. Turns out Integrated Dynamics has a portable storage system, which I can just sort of connect to my main one with a Omni thing, whatever it's called, and so I can access my storage system from here. Pretty cool. So what we're gonna want to do is we're gonna want to bring this thing pretty much anywhere. Honestly, I could probably do it all up here to kind of save space. So yeah, let's just go ahead and plop it here, and then we want to make sure that we get the correct thing. So we want the naphtha. So do I have naphtha there? I do. So what we can actually do to ensure that we get the naphtha is we can just drag it over here in JEI, and it'll guarantee that that's the result we get. So we can just go ahead and throw this into here, and there we go. So now that part is ready, and now I just need to hook it up to some more power. So once we go ahead and put this pipe over here and probably experience a huge lag spike, hence the lag spike. Does the lag spike end? Okay, there it goes. I was expecting it to just stay forever, but there we go. And now we're getting the naphtha. There we go. Okay, that is good. That's good. So now with our naphtha, before this thing is actually able to turn into anything else, we kind of need to convert it into normal naphtha because right now it's sulfuric. And it's actually also going to make some sulfuric acid as well, which will help us with a bunch of other chemicals. We also are going to need some hydrogen, which is very easy for me to get. We're just going to need an electrolyzer with some water, and that'll get us some hydrogen and oxygen. But the problem with all of this is that there is going to be some spacing issues, because for me to be able to actually automate all these things properly, I either need to have all of this be in one area or have it all connected to a network with some dedicated fluids and drawers and stuff like, or not drawers, and tanks. That's just going to be interesting, to say the least. So which do I do? I think I'm going to have to do the situation where I'm going to hook up a bunch of tanks and then have an integrated dynamic system with a omnidirectional, whatever this thing's called again. What is this thing? Why doesn't it show my name? Why does it say logic cable? Stop saying logic cable. Say the freaking thing that's there. Oh my gosh, what are you called? An omnidirectional connector. So yeah, I'm probably gonna have to hook up a bunch of these things to tanks if I want to continue here.
20 minutes later.
Alrighty, I set up the new place with all of the tanks, and here it is. Within all of these tanks, are we going to have all these things stored? And I have another connector right here that connects back to my storage system. So right here, now we have a fluid storage. And in there is where all of these things are going to end up going. At least for the intermediary ones, there are some that are just really just not going to end up going there. Now, all that is left for us to do is to go ahead and then get back up to here and then hook up the rest of these things, which I have already done. I brought myself up a electrolyzer with a water tank, flowing some water in here, which is going to make our hydrogen and oxygen. And then the hydrogen is going to flow into this chemical reactor with our sulfuric naphtha, which should hopefully get us what we need. So once we hook up this last pipe right here and have a severe lag spike, because integrated dynamics is like that, we should now get these things going. So yeah, that's now going. And then once that makes the hydrogen, which I have already configured to the pipes that it'll go through, this should start working. Hopefully I can actually fit all of this into one chunk, because once we actually get the byproduct from this, I'm pretty sure that's when we actually like pump it inside of our giant distillery. So hopefully it goes well. It should fit in here though. So yeah, and now it's going in. And now we're getting the naphtha and the sulfuric acid. Okay, so it turns out I actually needed another chemical reactor for this. So we can go ahead and then plop that over to here. Before we can actually use this one more properly, we're going to need some steam. So we can just go ahead and take one of my old steam boilers that I've had for ages, because they became obsolete. Didn't really need them anymore. But now we can actually go ahead and make use of it. So let's just go ahead and send it right over into here. I'm going to need some coal. I can go ahead and just swipe some from over here. That should be fine. And that way we can go ahead and start generating our steam. So we can go ahead and plop that into there. And there we go. Now we are having our naphtha and our steam. Now we just need to hook this up to some more power, and we should get ourselves our steam cracked naphtha. So now all that remains is to take what's in here and put it inside of our giant distillation tower. We just need to go ahead and collect all of these. And now we just need to set up our area. So it's gonna be somewhere along here. Okay, let me get the basic layout of this setup, because that's just gonna be boring, and dogs won't shut up.
Stupid dog! You made me look bad!
Okay, so I've got a basic idea as to where I want this stuff to be. So I put the distillation tower block right here already, and I've put the fluid input right over here for this thing to get stuff in properly. So actually, wait, if this side is the input, that means I should want it like that, I believe. Hopefully I'm right on that. So then we're also going to want to go ahead and then put our energy right back here. That way all of that is the same. And then we can just go ahead and fill the rest of this in with our stainless steel blocks. These are a pain to get. It's just a lot of stainless steel. Fortunately, quest rewards are a thing, but it still sucks. So now what we can do is we can just put our stainless steel pipe machine casing right in there. And then we surround all of this with these advanced fluid output hatches, because we need a lot of these, and that actually makes us our distillation tower, which is weird because the picture for this looks a lot taller. So I don't need this to be obscenely tall? But why? Is it possible that since I'm using the MV, like maybe I can do that with the smaller one? I mean, if I don't need to use a bigger one, I can work with that, because then I can use those guys for whatever later purpose, or maybe even another one of these if I need to. So now we got ourselves our way smaller than I expected it to be distillation tower. Oh my gosh. Okay, so then all we need to do is just go ahead and then slap this pipe, well, not shift clicking it because that breaks everything, and that should be the steam cracked. There we go. And then we can just pipe it out into there. So now that that is working, this should be, yeah, it's gonna slowly start consuming, and it can only gain an efficiency up to 3 times. That is good. And now it's done something. Okay, we got the methane. This is interesting. Okay, wait, I'm noticing something. So yeah, there's the methane, but it doesn't actually make everything at once like I was expecting it to. It's actually only going to do one of the things at a time. I'm gonna finick with all this, and I'm gonna set a bunch of the fluid importers to get this down to my fluid storage system. And then we'll go from there. I'll probably also set up a bunch of the auto configurations for other chemicals too, because it really is just gonna be a lot of that. So we'll be right back.
Much later.
All right, so I've been very busy, and I've got some good news and some less than ideal news. So, you might notice I did a little something. I increased the size. Turns out that by adding the imports to these ones, it doesn't guarantee that it would make all of those. And in fact, I was partially right earlier about this thing actually making them all at the same time. However, for every layer I added to it would add another one of those gases slash fluids that it would make at the same time. So for me to get all 8 of them, I had to add 8 layers, not counting the bottom layer. So technically there's 9 of them. So yeah, I did end up having to use most of the stuff, but that is fine. We got it all hooked up back to the main spot before. We also have a few other things that I have hooked up to it, so I'm getting hydrogen and oxygen brought back over to there as well. I also hooked it up so that way the sulfuric acid is going back. It's all working out really well. We already got a lot of the stuff, and we go into the fluid storage. You can see there's some stuff, and I even actually set up some crafting things. But that's going to lead into the bad news, which we will get in a moment. But first, let's actually go back and look at the tanks, because it's actually really something special. When we go into here, unfortunately, there isn't a way for me to configure which of the tanks the things go into. So once it fills up one, it's gonna go to the next available tank. So we do have a few tanks that have multiple of the same fluid slash gases, but it's fine. And actually, something neat I noticed that with gases, it actually fills up from the top downwards in these tanks, which I think is a very nice touch. I really like that. So yeah, all of my tanks are full of something, so I can't really get any more of these gastral automations going in the way I wanted to. So that's unfortunate bad news number 1. But then we get into unfortunate bad news number 2. Let me show y'all something. It has to do with the auto crafting part in general. So if we go over to here, this is where I have my recipe for my hydrochloric acid, which takes chlorine. But if I type in hydrochloric acid and look at the recipe, it actually takes hydrogen and chlorine. So why do I only have the one? So integrated dynamics is very confusing. I don't know why, but for me to get the recipes for fluids, the fluids will actually go down here. I would drag the fluid from over here, and then it would put the bucket, and then I'd put another one there. And let's say I got the recipe. So now we get naphtha from naphtha, you know, that's something generic like that. If we were to put it up here though, and then get it down here, then it would need the bucket, because this is for item slots. These are for fluid slots, which you will have noticed I only have one of each, which means I can only automate one fluid to make another one. Exclusively one fluid also. So what that means is I can't actually go too heavy in the automation of fluids, at least with these crafting terminals with integrated dynamics. So I'm gonna have to find another way for me to be able to get all of these like fluids going in the way I want them to, which is fine. It's fine. There are some things I can do. I'm just going to need more of these machines, and many of them are gonna end up being dedicated to one thing in particular. That's fine. So what we can go ahead and do is we can go ahead and just start checking off the ones that I do have. I already got a lot of these things, so it's not too much of an issue. But when it comes to the automation of things, that's gonna then present an issue. So we do almost have everything for the industrial TNT though, which we needed from the last video. The only thing we're missing is going to be nitrogen, which we get from liquid air in a centrifuge, which we're actually just going to get from an air in tank, which is an interesting thing to make. We just need 4 aluminum plates, 4 stainless steel plates, and then a whole stainless steel rotor. So I do actually have 1 air intake though. So what I'm thinking I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and actually throw this baby in here. That way we can actually kind of get this process going. Wait, hang on a minute. It didn't consume it. Wait. It's permanent. Wait, what? Wait a minute. Wait, that is a whole something else. Okay. Well, let me go ahead and grab my liquid air, which, by the way, liquid air is very, very cold. For those of you who don't know, this bucket would be really cold for me right now. But now that we have this, let's go ahead and take this over to a centrifuge, which I may have in here. I don't actually have a centrifuge in here. Wait, I have a centrifuge, right? Okay, I know I have a centrifuge. So we can go ahead and throw that into there. It's gonna start slowly processing. Actually, how much liquid air did I need in this centrifuge? I needed 3 buckets. Alrighty, now the centrifuge is going, and with this, we'll get some oxygen, something called argon, and nitrogen. Nitrogen is the one we're specifically looking for. So now we just need to go ahead and take this with some tolune, and then we'll get ourselves an industrial TNT. There we go. Alrighty. It all came down to this. We now have ourselves we do have it, our industrial TNT. There we go. It looks, oh, I never noticed that before. There's an I in front of the TNT now. It didn't. Oh my gosh. That is sick. Now, unfortunately, there are no rewards for this. But now with this industrial TNT, we can actually make use of my implosion chamber, which is really good. Now, there's not a lot that I can do with it at the moment, but there are going to be things I'm going to be doing within at least the next few episodes that are going to be very helpful for this. And as I just saw, if I go ahead and grab gold and an apple, I can actually go ahead and make an enchanted gapple. All I need to do is just throw in our TNT with a gold and an apple, and then it imploded. And we got the enchanted gapple. Dude, that is awesome. Is that the only other way I could get this would be with antimatter, by the way, which is ridiculously expensive. Oh, wait, no, I could have also gotten it from a gold chicken. Oh, still not sure if I want to do chickens, but who knows? We'll see what happens with that one. I kind of want to see how big an industrial TNT's explosion is, because I mean, I believe these things are also used to make nukes. Yeah, no, that's in a nuke. So it could either be very good or it could be like ridiculously bad. So I figure since we tested out a piece of dynamite around here in the first video, we might as well go ahead and test out our industrial TNT here. So let's go ahead and... Oh, I thought that fell in the fire. Okay, good. So apparently industrial TNT does not blow up.
Well, that was anticlimactic.
So do you like this video? Good. Then be sure to check out our last Neotech video where we got the implosion chamber. Bye-bye!